dying.
I'm dead serious.
I do too.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, I'm so excited. Like, I just want to stay up all night and just talk.
Let's get married. Ah. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're dealing with Married at First Sight. You ain't got the minerals. Baby, let's get into this. Gigi, are you mad? Are you mad? Are you lean? Let's get this. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, baby. Alright, we are talking about Married at First Sight now. I don't know what happened. I couldn't actually get the whole episode. I managed to get a lot of it, but not all of it. So there is going to be some parts where I'm probably going to miss out in my description, but do bear with me, it's going to be lit. And so we're going to talk about the Iris-Keith connection.
I never thought this day would come. My future wife is at most 100 yards away.
The Iris of Keith's heart. Yes, we're talking about these two lovely couples. Now, you know, whenever I do Married at First Sight, I love my black couples when they're on there. I really love Iris and Keith, and
Daddy!
What's going on?
What's up?
it actually opens up with Iris obviously getting ready to go out, meet her husband, and she mentions again. I feel like the producers obviously this year have really tried to push this notion and narrative of her being a virgin.
Friends and family, but being pure for me means so much because I'm a virgin and I've waited for 27 years of my life to give to my husband. And
I number one, I think because it's so rare that people are virgins going into marriage, or it's rare in the sense we don't hear about it. I think number two as well, I know some people obviously made comments about the fact that, you know, she feels, they feel like Iris is almost using it like I'm better. And I don't think that's the case, but it can come out like that sometimes. That when people are virgins, it may come out like, oh, I'm pure and all this. But I don't necessarily get that, and especially this episode, I don't feel like that's what she was portraying. I feel like she's a virgin, she's excited about being a virgin, she's happy that she's made it. Yes, there is some pride in the fact that she accomplished meeting the I don't want to say requirement, but made sure that she, you know, got to the finishing line to get married as a virgin. Obviously, the alternative of that, though, is the fact, or the other fact is the fact, the other fact of that is that she's getting married to a stranger. So it's almost like you've done all that hard work, but then you got married to a stranger.
Retired law enforcement officer, and I feel I have to protect her. And letting her go to this guy, to this stranger, oh, that's a tough one.
I want to say this as well. I mean, I was a virgin once, yeah? And I was a Christian. I wasn't a Christian, I was a religious Christian, I want to say it. Many of you guys know what that means. Meaning that there's somebody who goes to church, but actually has never had a relationship with God. Who can tell you stuff about the Bible, but don't live their life to be a Christian at all. They're not Christians. They profess to be Christians, but they're not really Christians inside. God doesn't change their lifestyle, their heart, their mindset. Do you get what I'm saying? And so the Bible says, renew your mind. In fact, the Bible says we are circumcised in the heart, meaning there's a new covenant which is written upon our hearts, the laws, and it enables us to love God the way we're meant to love God, and actually to able to live this godly lifestyle we're talking about. It doesn't make me perfect, because I'm still in this body, yeah, which is flesh. And the Bible talks about the fact that flesh, it desires what it wants to desire, and it wars against the spirit that's in me. The spirit in me is perfect, it wants to do God's will, but the flesh wants to do all the mad things. Now, going on from that, talking about the fact that, you know, she mentioned about being a virgin, I wanted to put this point out. If you've watched any of my celibacy videos, I've spoken a little bit about this. Being a virgin in body doesn't always mean you're a virgin in the mind. And so I was a virgin until I was 17. I had the dirtiest mind ever, though. I was writing little graphic novels with people. I don't know where I'm even getting information. I don't know where I was getting images from. It's fantasy. I was talking dirty. I was doing other stuff aside full-on penetration. Okay, so I was doing a lot of other stuff and calling myself a virgin. You're not a virgin at that point, my friend. You just haven't been penetrated, or I haven't penetrated a girl. So it's like, when we discuss things about virginity, let's not hold it into such a esteem that it becomes pride. But you can be proud, I guess, of the fact that, you know what, you've managed to hold it to a certain point. My only thing is this, and I'm going to put this clear before I actually go really deep into the video, is that there's a clear difference between a Christian and somebody who has religious beliefs, right? So when you look at Iris and when you look at Donna and Greg, these are two Christians. They profess Jesus. You've got Iris who professes that she's religious and believes in God. At this point, we have to assume that God is a Christian God, but you can't be definite, sure. Why? Because she doesn't mention the name of her God. So therefore, the act of being even a virgin then becomes religious. You haven't even attached it to any particular God. I don't know what God you're talking about. And even if let's say if it was my God that we're talking about, Jesus Christ, your man, I don't think he is on that level. So then we've got a problem. Whereas Donna and Greg both profess to love this God that we call Jesus, but we have Donna saying she's religious and a virgin, but the person you're going to be marrying isn't religious on that format. So then you have to ask the question, what was the point of holding it if you're going to get married to somebody who's really not going to be on that same level as you? So you're not really holding it for religious purposes, you're holding it for your own self-esteem in a sense.
Daddy!
What's going on?
What's up?
And then she got up, and then Dad came over, and Dad was like, and then the tears started flowing. And I think, you know what, as a father, I'm not a father, but as a father, as a man, I can understand what a father might potentially be feeling. You're about to give your daughter away, and we say this every year, about to give your daughter away to a complete stranger. Not only that, you've managed to help her, or you've taught her to keep her chastity. You've always protected her from the world, and now it's like she's been taken from your hands, not to somebody who you even know, not to a man that's come into your house and asked for the hand, but for somebody who's an outsider. So really, all the work that you've done, is it really, you almost like all your work has been undone. But I love the fact that he respected it. He supported her. He didn't do what he did. They did Jasmine last year. He didn't drag his feet. He's just emotional because obviously at this point he can't protect her. He has to let her make her own decisions, and that's very, very important. As adults, as parents as well. Please let your children make certain decisions when they get to a certain age.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. You growed up just the way I knew you would. You're still my baby girl, though.
Yeah.
Give them the autonomy and the freedom without there being a consequence of their action from your end. So if you know that, listen, like for me, I remember I was 18, I went out clubbing. It got to a point where Dad was like, it's up to you what you want to do, innit? You should be a Christian, but blah, blah, blah. He knew that my heart weren't there for God like that. So he just let me be. So I went out, I clubbed, I came back home. No consequences. But the moment if there starts being consequences, what happens, I have to start sneaking out, which I first started doing at the beginning. I start sneaking out, I start lying about where I'm going, and then I put myself in more danger, potential danger. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas, I'm not saying that you can't have rules. What I'm saying to you, when it gets to a certain age, let's be sensible about how we back people. We can support them and say, listen, there's still an open door. Because that's what Jesus would do. So, when I look at the situation, I go, you know, I can see the tears, I can see the in his eyes, and I can see the pain in his eyes that he feels, and it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's your daughter at the end of the day. And it was so important as well to see that great bond, especially as black people, and not to push it further as well, to hear him say, I'm so proud of you. Now, when I heard those words, I was touched for her, because I was like, to hear those words in something like this, where you're going to get somebody random, to hear the words, I'm so proud of you, lets me know that, listen, there's still a lot of love for my dad, which means there's still an open door. If anything should go wrong, I can still run back.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. You growed up just the way.
To my dad, without feeling like, oh my gosh, he was right and I was wrong, and you know what, I can't even go back to shame. I mean, some people don't go back to, you know, their family because of shame, because they're scared of being told I told you so. Where it should be like, look, bro, look, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I'm gonna support you. Do you know what I'm saying? And say, look, once it happens, that's an open door here, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna condemn you. You know, and that's how I try to live with all my friends. If I feel they're going a bit mad, I'm like, look, bro, look, I can't agree with what you did. But you know what, fam, if the thing don't pop, don't think that I'm gonna be here telling you what told you so. I'm sad for you. I'm sad that it didn't work out. I'm sad that, you know what, fam, you know, this didn't go the way you wanted to go. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's always an open door. And I think that's the most important thing, especially as black people, considering the stuff that we go through. So that was important to hear. I really appreciated that. He said, obviously, you're still my baby girl, and you know, and it's just, again, opening that door, say, look, if anything goes wrong, I'm still here.
My mind is everywhere. How are you gonna respond? What are you gonna do?
I also like the fact that Keith as well, I believe he's a good leader. And the reason why I say that is because when he was having a little bit of a nervousness and he was rubbing his palms, like he was going to rub the cocoa butter from his hands, you know, he said two things which kind of struck me. And it made sense, obviously, he's a mentor for kids and a basketball coach in that sense. When he said, obviously, okay, Keith, what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? And I said, wow. For him to mention how you're going to respond is what a captain would do. It's what a leader does. A leader is best seen in the point and time when crisis hits. When crisis hits, what does your leader do? And I start thinking to myself, that's when I know that, I mean, if you're at work and stuff hits the fan, and you get somebody who's able to go, look, guys, this is a plan. This is what we're going to do. It may not necessarily work, but at least they had a plan, right? And so instantly, that person's a trusted person who's a leader because they at least had a plan for when things went wrong. They didn't crumble. They had a plan. And that's very, very important. I think Keith showed that again of that ability that he has.
Where's Mama at? Are you Mama?
Yes.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm Keith.
Keith, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you a little bit more after this.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that Keith came out instantly as well, tried to find the mum, which is actually different from what James did. James came out and didn't hug the mum, didn't look for the mum of Elizabeth. And I think because I think it could be, to do it you have to have confidence. And it also shows what a compassionate side for the fact that we are in this scenario. Last season we saw Luke do it, we saw Keith also do it. I believe we saw also as well, what's his name? The one that talks a lot. Him do it as well. And I don't think we saw Thingy do it though. We didn't see, I don't know if we did see Jasmine's partner do it as well, Will. But, majority of people try to do it, just to kind of ease the fears. And it's good because it helps the other person, it helps the family members or the mum or the dad to kind of just feel at ease. Do you get what I'm saying? What was interesting as well was also the bride's mum when she met, when Iris's mum met Keith. She was very much, very, very open. Happy to see him. Like the fact that he was a handsome man, young man, and had a good energy. She said, and that's what's good when you meet somebody fresh, someone who's meeting who's loving your daughter or loving your son. You want somebody who's going to give you good vibes from the jump. I think you want somebody who's going to bring some energy to the table, who's going to bring that love. And I think that Keith emphasizes that with his warm eyes and his warm, kind of heart, and it emanates and it manifests itself in his action and in his mannerisms and his body language. So it was evident that the mum was going to see that because that's the way he is.
Keith, meet for the very first time, Iris.
Hey, Iris.
Eye contact was on point, baby. So I really rated that. And I love their vows as well that they said about each other, which was really nice, really cool. So that was nice as well. I mean, I love the fact that as well that Iris was there talking with her dad. And I just love the fact that they had energy, man. Like, she was talking with her dad, and dad was like, they were doing a little boogie and a dance before the thing, before they went out and stuff. And it just showed, again, that great bond. Not only that as well, I feel like as well, the dad didn't want to go through this. He doesn't want to go through this. He doesn't. He offers her 3 separate chances that you can rescind this offer. You don't have to go through this, but she decides to go through it anyway. But, I could tell that he didn't want her to go through it, but he's, again, willing to support. And that's what we have to do as people, as parents, as friends as well. To be willing to support, I think as well, do you know what? They probably had one of the best dances, I think, out of everybody. I felt that they were the most natural couple. Again, it reminded me of Keith and Queen from last season. Just had that natural spark, had that natural energy, that comfortability to be in each other's presence. She mentioned it earlier on, Iris, about the fact that she wasn't thinking about kissing, her husband, but then it just became natural. She kissed her husband. She's like, oh, this is my husband, I'm gonna kiss him. And it was natural. Again, it wasn't pushed, it wasn't forced. When they got called up to dance as well, it was lovely to see that, the fact that they were so close, arm in arm. They were literally, 2 had become 1. They were tight knit, and that's lovely to see. So again, just pointing out the fact that these two have made good headway, good head start. Again, the choice of couple, really, really good. Just like Keith and Queen last year. I mean, it's just, again, showing last season. Sorry, I said not last year, last season. It just shows us again a good match, I believe, from the experts in that regard. And I love the fact that when they actually met as well, that, you know, they began talking about what they do, and it was like, no way.
Yeah.
I work in nonprofit with kids.
Oh, you're lying.
I'm dead serious.
I do too.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, I'm so excited. Like, I just want to stay up all night and just talk.
I'm with that because I got 100,000 questions for you.
Hey, no way, like, you do kids, I do kids, like, whoa, like, and you sort of the eyes light up, you know, and you can tell that, you know what, we've met someone with our match. One thing I would say is when they were talking, something that, you know, Iris is strong. So I'm gonna say that she's confident, because when you were saying to her, like, you know what, like, I've got 1,000 questions for you. She said,
1,000 questions for you.
Who are you telling? I ask a lot of good questions. My dad's a cop, so Pia.
Woo! So you do ask some good questions.
And my mom's a reporter. She's
That's what I'm
here,
talking-
so I got
man.
questions
Oh man, and you got
for you.
got questions that when I'm answering, I won't even know, but I'm telling you
That
an
you
answer
tell me
to
answer,
something.
exactly.
All right,
See, it's
now, all
okay.
right, see?
your questions are gonna be okay, but mine are gonna be superlative. Like, and I was like, oh, be careful, girl. But you know, I understood what she was doing anyway. But you know, she's definitely more of the talker. He will be more the listener. The reason why I stated that is because she gave information that he never asked for. Talkers, people who are in the color red, in the matrix of red, blue, yellow, and what's it? Is it green? People who are red often are very talkative. Yeah, they're just all the time talking, man. And so what I realized was that, you know, when she said that, she also added information. Oh, my dad is also a cop, and also my mum is a reporter. So yeah, I'm going to be asking you great questions. And he was like, oh, you know what, like, you're going to be getting answers at me that I won't even know that I'm giving answers. Do you know what I mean? And very, very super comfortable with him. And I think that's really great. Because she actually said something and she started rubbing his arm. Physical contact instantly, broke that barrier. Boom. Ready to go. So I really saw that and I was like, okay, cool. I love the fact as well, Keith, as they were coming down, he might be a words of affirmation type of love language. Love the fact that when they were coming from the altar, he said to her, listen, you know, I really love your first name.
I love your first name, by the way. Yeah, it's fine.
He was like, thank you. And then he complimented the dress also, just as they were about to exit the door. So
An amazing dress.
you know, the dress is really nice on you. Again, just giving her the good respect and the words. And I love his energy. I love his respectful manner. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so when they walked in, interesting enough, I noticed the different partners, what they did. So for them, they were arm in arm. So I feel like, do you know what, arm in arm is really good because it's like, we're going to take this journey together and we're going to move forward linked. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be a me and you team. And Donna and Greg also did the exact same. They were hand in hand actually. It's like we're a partnership. We're hand in hand in this. Do you know what I'm saying? Give and take. Whereas James and Elizabeth, James had his arm around Elizabeth. That's his property. And Matt and what's his name? Amber came in together, but then kind of separated. Just shows again that awkwardness that they're gonna have to build that intimacy up because obviously they're awkward people. That's just the truth. They're awkward people. So that level of intimacy might not be now, but it will get there. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Love the fact that obviously as well, that dance, you can't fake chemistry, man. You can't fake chemistry. You can't fake a comfortableness. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they were so natural with each other, and because they were so comfortable with each other, they just decided to dance. Yeah, arm in arm. Even when the dad was crying with Matt, there was no change in their posture, behavior. There was not much talking. It was just like, yo, enjoying each other's presence of now. Why? Because they were invested in each other already. They were comfortable with each other. Everybody else had a slight awkwardness because, like I said, the comfortability wasn't there 100%. Not that they weren't compatible, they weren't comfortable just yet. Do you get what I'm saying? So that was interesting as well. So again, I want to even just, I'll say this in another video with James and Elizabeth, that, you know what, when you're not comfortable with intimacy, you can't dance like that. Trust me. That dance they did, it shows more intimacy than them lip-sync. Lip-sync is easy to do. People think lip-sync is hard. It's not hard to lip somebody. It's not hard to get intimate on that level. It's sexual, almost, if you want to call it that. It's physical touch. It's not that difficult to do. But doing something like dancing like that, where you're so close to each other, you have to really like each other to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to like each other to do that, because to be in that close proximity and not have to do kissing or anything like that where it's sexual shows a level of, we cool. Trust me. You try to dance with a girl on a dance floor, and do what they did, and trust me, it won't work. Because that level of comfortability is not there. But you can do it with your girlfriend. Why? Because it's your girlfriend. And you've built that level of intimacy and trust. That dance is about a dance of trust. Everyone else couldn't be that close because there's no trust as of yet.
We kind of gel really well right now.
Did you notice the dress that she has on?
I did, of course.
You notice the color?
It's the cream.
Hers is not cream. Hers is white.
Hers is white.
Hers is white.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know the significance of a white dress for a bride?
What is the significance? Tell me.
That she's never had sex. No pressure. No pressure.
It's pretty heavy.
It's very heavy. How do you feel about that?
I really don't know how to feel about it.
It's a huge surprise. I thought about plenty of different scenarios, what my wife would be like, but I never in a million years imagined that my wife is a virgin.
That means it's, something special to her. And it's definitely something that's going to require patience.
I didn't realize everybody was wearing cream. I thought everyone else was wearing white. But obviously her mum mentioned it, and I was like, first of all, it's a bit odd the way she mentioned it. It's out of the bluish, and it's a bit like, well, why would you even question that? But, she asked her and said obviously about the purity and the fact she's a virgin. Why does she need to go and tell her son that? Let your son discover that. Don't try to change his mindset. Let him discover that. Once he discovers that, he will know what to do that. But I felt like she just kind of interceded there, and that's dangerous. Because it's like, you might intercede in the future too. You didn't need to let your son know that you're a virgin. They will discover it on their own. She will discuss it with him. Obviously, when she asked him about, what colour dress it is, and he said, obviously, cream. And I was like, either he playing really good naive, or he's like me, he just never noticed. I personally think he's playing good naive, but that's just my take on it. So yeah, guys, to be honest, what do you think about Iris and Keith? Is it a match made in heaven? I personally think they're a good match, and I feel like, when I see them behaving, I can just see that, fam, they're really close knit, and they got good energy and a good love already for each other. When I say love, I don't mean in the deepest form, but they really got like a lovely kind of vibe about each other already. Do you know what I mean? So already, I can see good things happening for them. Do you get me? So yeah, man, I think that's my little review of Iris and Keith. It's gonna be interesting what they do with the sex part and see how they move from there. But we'll monitor and see. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot that happened in that episode. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tune in for the next review. And you know what, guys? I'm here for you, man. Are you Maddie-Lena? Little black bug, you know what time it is. Woo!